We've all heard nightmare stories about the Philippines and Pinoys and relationships. In this episode, I will tell you a horrific story of a man who got accused falsely and sentenced to prison. First, subscribe to the channel so we can spread the truth. Thumbs up, like, and share also. This is what he wrote to me. This man says, in 2012, I entered into a relationship with a young Filipino girl. Unbeknownst to me, hiding in the cracks was her ice-stealing boyfriend. Then she became pregnant. Now I am trapped. The child is born. The child is not mine. But the mother begs me to stay and help her raise her child. Big mistake. Then, the now jealous ex-boyfriend frames the mother for dealing ice. So now my Filipino girlfriend is in jail, and now I have to look after her child. I find out where the father of the child lives, and I try to return the child, but they are not interested. 16 months later, the mother is released from jail. One would think all would be okay. Then, 6 months later, the father and his parents now want to borrow the child. We agree to lend the child, but the child refuses to go. An argument then occurs, and while distracted, the child is then thrown in the back of their pickup and driven away. Apparently, the child then becomes sick and is diagnosed with a UTI, that is a urinary tract infection, which is related to the STD family. So, they decide that the child, because she has a UTI, had to have been sexually assaulted. 2 months later, I am arrested for sexual assault. Unable to defend myself, I am now at the mercy of my attorney and the courts. And yes, you guessed it all. They wanted money this whole time. You can't make this shit up. Let me stop reading here because he responds to someone's comment. Can you imagine that wanting to help your girlfriend raise a child that's not yours because you are either in love with her or love the child or simply want to be a good human being while she serves time in prison, and then they turn around and accuse you of one of the most horrendous crimes possible, sexual assault against someone that's not an adult? Could you imagine the type of agony this person had to go through emotionally, physically, financially, and the amount of time he's facing in prison? I cannot believe this, but things like this happen very regularly in the Pinoy land. Your life is practically worthless. You are not valued on any level. Anyone can decide you're not worth living, or they want to have what you have, or simply because you have not given them what they want, they can just simply end your living. It is nothing new. It happens on a daily basis in the Pinoy land. It just doesn't get covered enough because, first of all, they do not report these incidences. Secondly, the government and the police are extremely corrupt. And lastly, people are just afraid to come forward in case it happens to them as well. Many of these crimes never get reported, and with the crazy rise of STIs, STDs, whatever you want to call them, in the Pinoy land, stories like this are only going to get worse and be more common. Let's see what someone says. Bobby James responds by saying, "That's off the charts," in which the original poster responds by saying, "Guess what? My first visitor in jail was the mother and the child. In front of my attorney, the warden, and the prison guards, the child made a full confession, admitting that nothing had ever happened. Unfortunately for me, my attorney had no interest in the truth. On leaving the jail, he turned to me and said, 'Sorry, Rod, blood is thicker than water.' You can never win in court case for any nature in the Philippines because, 1, they're all related. 2, their greed is incomprehensible. Later, 5 years in jail, I was found guilty of sexual assault and sentenced to 15 years. But after reconsideration trial where I had to pay compensation to the family of the child, my attorney, the judge, my case was dismissed, and I was deported back to Australia. At the end of the day, they exploited a child who at the time was under the age of 3. Travel, enjoy your life, but do not travel to the Pinoy land." An incredible story. Essentially, they extorted this man and tried to take every penny out of him, and because he did not want to confess to a crime that he did not commit, especially one this atrocious They essentially let him rot in prison for 5 years until this man could no longer take it and had to pay some money just so he can live somewhat of a normal life after. Can you imagine going on a vacation, on a trip, trying to improve your life and find true love, and this is the type of relationship you fall into? Some of these signs are there. Sometimes we don't see them, but that is why the truth exists. That is why this channel is here. I don't care about individual Pinoys or their country. I don't hate anyone. I am here simply to spread the truth, to share the other side of this country, that it's not just paradise or heaven on earth as most expat vloggers would have you believe, because that is the lie that they are selling. That is the dream they're telling you so you can come here, spend your money, and they can get views. Leave your opinions regarding his story in the comment area. What do you think of this story? Have you heard of something like this before? Unbelievable. Or share your Pinoy relationship stories. You can also send me any footage you want me to use to thephilippinestruth@gmail.com. I want to thank Chris for sending these images. This is not the Pinoy land. I don't know where it is, but it's not there. That's what he told me. Let's take a look at yesterday's best and worst comments. This is yesterday's best comment. If you want to regain your appreciation for America, consider visiting the Philippines for a week. Absolutely correct. How many times have you heard people reconsidering the trip to the Philippines because they've now been there and know the reality compared to the US, Canada, Australia, or the UK? How many people have gone to Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia, Cambodia, and decided they would never want to return to the Pinoy land? It is absolutely horrible. Yes, if you spend 1 week, maybe 2, you will not see many of the things that I talk about. Maybe you get lucky and meet someone your own age and you're okay, because it's still a lot better than your home country. But I promise you, the longer you stay in this land, the more obvious these inconveniences can be. Every day becomes a struggle. Everything becomes a headache, a hassle, complete nuances that you do not want to deal with on a regular basis. Sure, if you're there just for a holiday, if you want to be a 2-week millionaire, it can be a great place. They do have some nice resorts, and you can simply ignore all the red flags, all the trash, all the pollution, the traffic, the noise, the roosters. Everything can be simply ignored because you know subconsciously you're only there for 2 weeks, so you focus on the good things. The young Filipina that's next to you, you don't even care about her lies, her boyfriend back home, the fact that she actually had a baby when she said she never had one before. Everything becomes secondary because deep down, you're just here for 2 weeks and you don't care. But in reality, the place is not somewhere you want to retire. The worst comment is from Wolf, who says, "Not the same for everyone. If you don't like the Philippines, just leave and stop trying to make a living on these false statements." In case you don't know, for those of you who are new, if I could leave the Philippines, I would. I cannot. My child is here, and I do not want to abandon him, no matter how much deep down I want to be free and happy. I cannot let someone live here in these conditions and simply abandon my child. The mother does not want to come or leave the kid with me, so I have no choice for now. Also, to try to make a living off of these, if anyone knows or doesn't know, this channel is not monetized. I do not make any money from these videos at all. You can simply look it up. There are websites. Simply put in the name of this channel, and I'll tell you, it is not making any money. So there you go. That theory is false. I just want to warn, prepare men, and let them know not to make the same mistakes as so many have. Because life is short. I want you to be happy. And believe me when I tell you, this is not the place if you think you can simply come here and your problems will go away. You might be happy for a week or 2 or a month. Everything might be exciting for you, people smiling, waving, saying hello. Sure, you give a little bit of change to the kids, to the doorman. Sure, you may not have your food, the ones that you want, the good condition living. Maybe the AC works sometimes but doesn't. But after a while, you're just simply rotting in this place. It's going to eat away at your soul. I'm telling you, do not get involved unless you found someone that is precious, unless you test them daily, weekly, monthly, unless you know for a fact that she does not want your money. And even then, please be careful. This is to warn men. I do not care about talking bad about individuals or a country. If you enjoyed this, subscribe, like, share. If you found it informative, helpful in any way, do that so we can spread the truth about this country. Thanks for watching. God bless.